It was a very long trial involving dozens of suspects. What exactly is the verdict today?
Well, it was a trial involving no less than 76 defendants, only four of whom were ever under arrest or detained, and 13 of whom didn't appear in court because they're on the run. Now, the defendants who are in court today were allowed to make final statements before sentencing, and they all used the opportunity to deny any knowledge or any involvement in the killing, and to stress their loyalty to the Turkish state. That notwithstanding, the verdicts that were handed down included 4 life sentences against senior officials, one of whom was the former Istanbul Gendarmerie intelligence chief, Yavuz Karakaya. Another senior official, the former Trabzon provincial gendarmerie commander, Ali Öz, was sentenced to 28 years in prison. And another Istanbul intelligence chief was sentenced to 10 years for deliberately assisting in the killing. Now, in addition, 11 people were acquitted, and the cases against 13 defendants, some of whom, or most of whom, weren't in court, were separated from the original case, and they'll now be tried separately. A number of people were acquitted. The case file against defendants for several of the senior department chiefs were also dropped. And a decision was taken to arrest 6 more defendants.
So a lot of verdicts being announced today. What then are the implications of this trial going forward, David?
Well, we haven't heard yet from Hrant Dink's family or the human rights groups supporting them, but it seems unlikely that they'll be completely satisfied with the verdict. The verdict announced today confirmed beyond all doubt that there was involvement of senior officials from the gendarmerie, from the security services, and from the intelligence services in the killing of Hrant Dink, either that they had knowledge of the killing beforehand or that they were actively involved in organising it. The court also announced today the fact that, or the suggestion that Fethullah Gulen, the rogue Turkish cleric who's based in the United States, and supporters of his group were behind or were involved in the killing. And a number of members of his organisation are still on trial. The case is still ongoing. The question is whether this is actually whether they were actually involved, or whether there are still other people within the Turkish security services, the intelligence services, who knew about the killing and haven't yet been brought to trial. What's certain is that the case itself hasn't finished. There are other people waiting to be tried, waiting to be sentenced, and certainly the controversy over it has not gone away.
David, thank you very much indeed. David O'Byrne there in Istanbul.